Yo, what is up, YouTube? Went to go over a few charts. Yo, what is up, YouTube? Went to go over a few charts. Which I just got my alert on Bitcoin, as you can see here. We crossed the 108.4K, which means full send to all-time high. We have a nice little accumulation that we had, where we had a 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap. Everyone was pretty scared on the timeline. It's pretty crazy. Because we had the war FUD last Friday. But yeah, Bitcoin's gonna go straight to all-time high now. What do the altcoins look like? Well, I'm currently watching Sui. What do the altcoins look like? Well, I'm currently watching Sui. What do the altcoins look like? Well, I'm currently watching Sui. And let me know in the chat what coin you want me to go over. And let me know in the chat what coin you want me to go over. And let me know in the chat what... This is the way I see it right now. It's just like a little 3 tap for our local accumulation. We had a clean Wyckoff here. Once we break this, we had a clean Wyckoff here. It's gonna be our market structure break. Close candle above this, especially daily candle. We're gonna see all-time high. Especially daily candle. All-time high will be studied. Have my alert set. All-time high will be studied. Have my alert set. The return to zone is actually insane on this. The return to zone is actually insane on this. Wait, we have all this liquidity here. Excellent. Wait, we have all this liquidity here. Excellent. Liquidity there. Here. This was the high time frame Wyckoff Model 1 accumulation schematic. You have your PS, your SC, your SD, phase B, then you have your spring and your test, and then of course the LPS, and then you just full send. And we had a supply zone here. Supply zone here, which is then used as support, which we accumulated in this zone. In fact, coming here, which we accumulated in this zone. In fact, coming here, just barely tapping that, and then we have a nice bounce. So I am expecting new all-time high for Sui. That's one of the coins I'm quite interested in. For Solana, I did say we would probably bottom here within this demand zone. If not, then we were gonna have to come back into this demand zone to take out this liquidity. But I really think that was unlikely, especially looking at Bitcoin now. This thing's just straight gonna go back up to all-time highs. Especially looking at Bitcoin now, this thing's just straight gonna go back up to all-time highs. So if we could get a market structure break above this high, then there is no range, and we just have a local Model 2 accumulation here. Model 2 accumulation here. Yeah, this is a solid chart. I am expecting this liquidity to get taken out 273-ish. I am expecting this liquidity to get taken out 273-ish. But yeah. At Solana right now, I'm gonna look at the lower time frame. At Solana right now, I'm gonna look at the lower time frame. Have ourselves a little range, and then a little break of structure here. Aggressive move up. We could break past 160, 161. Then we just have this little supply zone right here, and then push through that, break the market structure. All this is liquidity here. Liquidity. So break past here, straight higher. So break past here, straight higher. What am I looking at for Ethereum? Oh, let's look at Ethereum. We have our range. Have a little bit of liquidity. It's not ideal though, because we had a heavy market maker demand zone right here. It's not ideal though, because we had a heavy market maker demand zone right here. And we've been forming a little bit of a Model 1 distribution. But the reason why I say this is not ideal for us to come down to the range low is because of the demand zone, of course, and it's not a liquidity trail. Like you go on the 8-hour, it's just what we're seeing is boom, heavy demand zone. A little bit more demand zone here. I'm just not liking this setup because it's not coiled up liquidity. It's just straight down, straight down, straight down. If you want liquidity to be taken out, it's gonna have to be like a coil. That's what you want to look for a higher probability of getting taken out. Like that was some liquidity, and then boom, you just see aggressive move down, taking it all out. just makes sense. So, what am I expecting right here? I'm expecting push back up to the range high. If we could break the supply zone up above, like right here, I would say this is our final boss to take out. If we can go above it, use it as a support zone to retest, we're gonna see higher. Next target for Ethereum is the 30. It's gonna be the 3,000 to 3,400 range. That's our next target for Ethereum. But really, this is just a bunch of liquidity being left behind. So yes, I do expect all-time highs for Ethereum. The last supply zone that we have on Ethereum is of course over here. Because we rejected once, twice, 4 times at around the 4,000, 4,100 zone. Last major supply would really be right here. So 4,300 or 4,250 to 4,500. That's where I would be looking for it to break above and reclaim as support before we can see higher. What am I expecting for Ethereum? Well, if we can reclaim this and go higher, pretty high. I would say 8,500 at most. Why do I say 8,500? Well, it was based off of the fibs. Because this was that high last time. If we pull our extended fibs, we could see 5,700 get hit. We could see 8,500 get hit. And that would be my target, would be 8,500. That's my personal target for Ethereum. But time will tell. We shall see. But looking at Bitcoin right now, it's looking pretty solid. Like we closed this hourly candle above this line. We got about 20 more minutes for that candle to close. Then I would say it's safe to say that we could see all-time high for Bitcoin very soon. Maybe we come down here and then back up. But I would see all-time high pretty soon. So it's a good chance that all altcoins have pretty much bottomed on Saturday or Sunday. Like I took this trade set up on Moodang. It's pretty solid. What am I looking at for the higher time frame on Moon? Oh, this looks pretty clean. We have a range, and we have sort of a deviation of the range into heavy demand zone. And so we could see this as a manipulation for the PO3 to complete. And we could see higher. We could see, as we took this out, we have some liquidity here. So next area supply zone we could see for Mudang for potential rejection would be anywhere around like the 40 to 56 cents range. But personally for me, I am in a long, so I'll be targeting the range high for the PO3 for the rest of my position. We shall see how price reacts with Bitcoin. If we can continue higher, it'll look pretty nice. Need to see a reclaim on Ethereum above the supply zone 2770. Yeah, I could go over some coins real quick. Okay, Pepe, lower time frame. Have a range. We're having some little bit of liquidity right here. I'm not too much of a fan of, but we could go higher if Ethereum. But I mean, it's not looking too likely because we only have that, and then we already came higher here. But we could have a 1, 2, and 3. But for any leverage trading setup, not necessarily interested in Pepe right now, given the price action, you know. But of course, with Bitcoin just going straight up, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Pepe follow suit. Like we do have a little bit more supply zone. We could see Pepe go higher into this zone, maybe reject, and then maybe have a little accumulation before another bounce, before we can go back up to this high. And much higher because the return to zone on Pepe is really good. If Ethereum continues to show strength and follow through, I would be expecting all-time highs for Pepe. It's about the 0.028. Look at Aave. This is a very popular coin right now. A lot of liquidity. All-time high will be studied, I think. At least this high locally at 400. Let's look at the all-time high. We could see all-time high with some supply up here. I think we should see 577, 600 for this coin, because it is looking very clean. We have our little accumulation in here, and we have a breakout, retest, insanely higher, and then come down, retest again for a much higher leg up. 660. We shall see. Good look at Brett. Local accumulation down here. It's like most coins. Right now we're seeing another local accumulation, although not clean because of the War 3 FUD that was going on. For we do have supply here, some supply here, but overall I could expect this to break 9 cents and go up higher, especially if ETH continues to have strength. So this could be the bottom. Could very well be the bottom. We also have some demand zone down here. So if we, another scenario I could see, we have our range if we get a Model 1 here. Because the first tap is not ideal. Well, again, we did have War FUD, so with Bitcoin going up, we could see it happen. But in terms of technicalities, we have 2 taps right now. Third tap into demand zone would be very clean. Come down, reject. Create a bunch of liquidity. And then go up. Then I would expect that high to get taken out easily. Then we have our next supply zone where we could look for take profits. Enter on the breaker structure. For a long position, stop loss here. Target supply zone, at least the range high. We shall see. Litecoin, we're seeing pretty aggressive strength. This looks pretty clean, in my opinion. Did we in fact take out these lows? No, we didn't. We respected the lows. Massive demand zone. Like I said, most coins are just break above this level for market structure. Full sin. Because look at all this liquidity that we have here. And this has been ranging for a while. So I would see $200 get hit. I could see $400, even $600, depending on the breakout. We have all this liquidity here that's gonna get taken out. 200 range is the first target. What is this? All this accumulation. How many days is that? Been ranging for 1,135 days. And what did we see that also ranged for that long? Oh, none other than XRP. And we had massive breakout. Broke out like 500%. So what could we expect for Litecoin? Potentially follow suit. That is in fact the low. Could go on a 500% run, which would be the all-time high. So 420 will be studied, I think. Because look how many days we ranged here. 912 days. They both dropped around the same time. And they both had a almost 1,000-day range. Difference is XRP went up significantly higher first time with like 5 years. And then Litecoin went up as well, but we formed a range and then we went down. Look, it's actually looking like a high time frame. Pretty clean PO3. We have your range. Then you have your deviation. Or your manipulation. And then another accumulation into this demand zone for really boom expansion. Technical target 147, but we could see higher. Like this looks pretty clean. Range, manipulation. Boom. Break the market structure, we full send 147. Because this liquidity here is just gonna get taken out. 107 is a magnet. Technical target to hit the range high at 147. Looks pretty promising. We do have some supply, 118 to 130, but we could see that get taken out. You could go over Fartcoin. It's one of the strongest coins that we've been seeing in the market recently. We had our demand zone here. We tapped that perfectly during the war flood. As you could say, we had our range. We had a 1 and a 2 tap. 1, 2, 3. For the deviation. Or the distribution that was forming. Boom. Technical target, range low. Gets hit, goes into the demand zone. Boom, bounces higher, retests right here. Send it higher. Let me see what we have here. We have a little bit of a supply. Which we already did kind of tap. So, push past that. Could refine it. Mark that as supply. Could see on Farcoin that. And if we can blow past it, use as a support, I don't see why we don't take out the all-time high. $2.78. We shall see. Very strong community, very strong coin. Turbo, insane run up, 277%, 1, 2, 3, and then we can go up. Let's check Bitcoin real quick. Low time frame. We have some liquidity. If we come down and take that out, we can look at this demand zone. Want to enter a long. Not a bad place to enter a long. Okay, so we have a little distribution here on Sui. Could see this demand zone hold. Looking at Bitcoin. Oh no, we could see higher. But this looks very clean right now for a distribution. So either we hold now and start going up, but this is what I'm seeing right now. Because we have a lot of liquidity right here. This is pretty hefty liquidity. Tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. Actually, might want to enter a short. This will be, break a structure, stop loss above the range high, target the range low. And if Bitcoin does come down, takes all this liquidity up, Target's gonna hit easily. This is very strong coin. 1 tap, 2 tap, 3. We could see this high get taken out. 0.006. Come down into, go into the supply zone. Check that. It's high. 3.1486. What was that? 3.14? How much is that? $50. Alright. I just entered a short on Sully. I'm gonna target the range low right here. Looks clean. Looking at Bitcoin, we could take out this liquidity. I could see this short easily playing out. Coming in demand zone, we can look for longs around the daily close, and then we can go higher. But yeah, we shall see. Liquidity looks really good. This looks like a pretty clean distribution right here. So if you want to enter this trade, you're watching the live, here's a free setup right here. Set your stop loss right here, let the range high. You can enter now. It doesn't matter. Only risk whatever you want. Don't risk like too much, of course, because I mean you are a little bit late, but it's not too big of a deal. Proper risk management is always necessary to have, because the return to zone down here on the range low is very clean. We could see this demand zone get hit too. To enter longs. We shall see. We get a 1 tap, 2 tap, and then if we can come down here into this demand zone, form an accumulation, I will long the crap out of this. I will long the crap out of this. Because that would complete a high time frame model 2 schematic. I'll draw that up in a second. Clean. I got I caught that on the live. That was crazy. Alright, we shall see. But this is what I'm looking at. Let me draw it up for, because that's not a good third tap. We have our tap 1, tap 2. Took out this liquidity down here, which is very nice. Draw your range. You're in a downtrend, so you draw your range from low to high. Deviated to low, you can extend your range if you want. We have a Model 2 in the works, playing out right now. If we come down right here, like I said, form an accumulation, we'll long the crap out of this. Because when we hit this, that's going to be a market structure break. And then we have a market structure break, we could just see a move to the all-time high, 5.36. You could see this coin hit $6 too. I'm not against hitting this $6 target. Because if we look at the fib extensions, put it from the high to the low, could see $7.62. This is a very good coin. The way they handled the hack should be studied, honestly. But yeah, here's a short you could enter right now. Target the range low. We could bounce here. Wouldn't necessarily like that much because we do have a little bit of liquidity down here too. And if we can form a clean third tap into this demand zone, that'll be great trade setup. Then we have our 1, 2, third tap confirming the Model 2 accumulation. And when I say Model 2, I'm referring to Wyckoff models. You could say TCT models as well. It's just Wyckoff simplified. Relatively the same thing. Look at that. That'd be insane. What was it? 85%. It's crazy. Alright, let's look at Ethereum. Local time frame. And then I'm fixing to call this wraps. Yeah, we have a demand zone down here. I mean, if you enter down here, good for you. If not, I wouldn't enter longs right now. You have a little bit of a distribution right now. We could see that, and then if we come down and take the liquidity out, we can see this demand zone get hit. Because we are in supply zone right now. So that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum. On Tuesday, if we mark a low during New York session, that would be very nice. That would be a really good clean setup. But yeah, like I said, we did close the hourly, I think. Let me double check. Yep, we did close the hourly candle above. So we can expect new highs for Bitcoin. but for altcoins, can't get super bullish just yet. Of course, if you bought down here, that's you're chilling pretty much. Just say keep an eye on it. Other than that, I don't necessarily see too many good setup. Oh wow, this is very clean setup. We had a nice Model 2 accumulation here, targeting range high. We could target the supply zone, and if INJ can begin to break above the supply zone, well, we could see what, $50? We could see. Oh no, let me see on the daily time frame. Depends. I'll expect the supply zone to get hit first, because this looks like a very strong coin. Very clean price action from it recently as well. Supply zone for INJ, which would be anywhere between $17 to $20. You can look for some take profits. We shall see. We're in mega demand zone though, so I could see us go to what, 50, yeah, 53 all-time highs. But of course, we shall see, because this could be a very high time frame. What, PO3? You have your range and your manipulation phase. And then, of course, expansion. Not super clean. It is plausible, so I wouldn't be surprised if it hit. Of course, time will tell. We shall see. This is probably the cleanest chart I'm seeing right now for the best RR. I just look how much. 100% gain to the zone. Insane. Insane. But yeah, depending on Bitcoin, it is deciding not to go get the liquidity, so we could just straight see higher. Depends. I didn't risk too much on this short. It is clean. So we shall see. Can come up, reject, go lower. Just depends. This is the New York low here. So just depends, because we are seeing pretty, like, a little bit of a distribution across the board. So if we do make a distribution and go lower, target here, or here on Tuesday, or on the daily open and close with Asia session, because Asia session could nuke the chart. What we shall see. Not here to predict. But yeah, that'll be all for the stream. If no one had any chart requests to go over, so hope you enjoyed watching. Peace.